under dangerous conditions.
This section sets the stage by describing the widespread destruction caused by the floods, emphasizing the natural forces at play and their impact on both urban and rural areas. Unrelenting downpours in Shaanxi province have unleashed devastating floods, transforming serene rivers into raging torrents. The waters have torn through mountains, swept across farmlands, and inundated towns, leaving behind a trail of mud and debris. Entire communities now face the daunting task of rebuilding as homes, roads, and fields lie buried under layers of sediment. Here, we focus on the flooding's impact on urban areas, particularly in the northern hill counties, to highlight the challenges faced by city infrastructure and residents. In the northern hill counties, streets were submerged under fast-moving runoff. Ground floor shops, schools, and homes were engulfed by thick, muddy water. Drains and culverts, overwhelmed by debris, clogged almost immediately, exacerbating the flooding. Crews worked tirelessly, deploying excavators to clear compacted earth from roads, but many neighborhoods remained inaccessible for days, paralyzing daily life. This section zooms in on Wukhi County to illustrate the severity of the crisis in a specific location, making the disaster more relatable and tangible for viewers. Wukhi County has emerged as the hardest-hit area. Town centers were buried under layers of sediment that coated streets and seeped into storefronts. Roads disintegrated, with asphalt peeling away and delivery trucks stranded at city boundaries. Cleanup teams have been working around the clock, pumping water from underpasses and restoring critical supply lines for food and fuel. Shifting focus to rural areas, this section underscores the unique challenges faced by isolated communities and the fragility of mountain infrastructure. In rural valleys, flash floods carved deep gullies into hillsides, collapsing retaining walls and triggering rockfalls that blocked highways. Mountain roads, already vulnerable, were eroded at their edges, isolating villages from essential services. Power lines fell into swollen rivers, forcing repair crews to navigate treacherous terrain to restore electricity under hazardous conditions. This section highlights the widespread damage to transportation networks, emphasizing the critical role of infrastructure in disaster recovery. The province's transportation systems took a severe hit. Bridges weakened at their foundations, culverts choked with debris, and roads split apart under waterlogged conditions. Temporary bridges and causeways were hastily constructed to allow emergency vehicles and supply trucks to pass. Provincial authorities allocated emergency funds to keep repair equipment operating non-stop, prioritizing access for rescue operations. This part explains how urban infrastructure failed under the deluge, providing insight into the systemic challenges of managing floodwater in cities. City drainage systems were overwhelmed by the sheer volume of water. Storm sewers backed up across districts, spilling contaminated floodwater onto streets and boulevards. Sanitation teams worked relentlessly to unclog manholes filled with silt, while vacuum trucks operated through the night to clear water. Debris from damaged furniture to destroyed market stalls piled up in temporary dumps, overwhelming waste management systems. Focusing on the agricultural sector, this section highlights the economic and personal toll on farmers, connecting the disaster to food security concerns. Farmland across Shaanxi suffered catastrophic losses. River embankments collapsed, and fields were buried under layers of sediment and rock. Irrigation ditches were obliterated, and small farm roads became impassable, leaving farmers cut off from their land. With crops drowned or buried, recovery efforts now focus on restoring drainage systems and access paths to prepare for the next planting season. This section addresses the secondary threat of landslides, illustrating how prolonged rain destabilized the landscape and compounded the disaster. Weeks of heavy rains softened hillsides, triggering landslides that swept across roads and into villages. Check dams, meant to control sediment, overflowed within hours, sending more debris downstream. Crews rushed to stabilize slopes using concrete reinforcements and drainage systems to prevent further collapses, but the saturated ground remains a significant risk. Here, we explore the impact on public buildings to show how essential services were disrupted and how communities adapted to the crisis. Public buildings, including clinics, schools, and administrative offices, were flooded on their lower levels. Gymnasiums were transformed into temporary relief centers after being pumped dry. Contaminated drinking water systems forced operators to flush entire networks and deploy water tankers to ensure safe drinking water for residents. This section outlines the ongoing recovery efforts, emphasizing the urgency and coordination required to rebuild and prepare for future storms. Across Shaanxi, the focus is on reconnecting isolated communities, repairing roads and bridges, and clearing sewers and canals. Engineers are racing to reinforce riverbanks and hillsides before more rain arrives. Farmers are working to clear mud from fields, while emergency crews remain on high alert, knowing the ground is still saturated and rivers remain unpredictable. Thank you for watching this detailed report on the Shaanxi flooding crisis. We aim to provide clear, factual updates on nature's most extreme events. If this video was informative, please like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated. Hit the notification bell for real-time reports. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next report.